All right. Kelly, are you ready? All right. So the court will call cause number 323-112-983-20. This is titled in the matter of Jalen Sparks. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My mom here.
I believe so. Mom, can you say something so your screen pops up on his?
Your mom is here.
All right.
Do you see her?
No, sir.
And Mom, can you say something?
I see you, Jalen. I'm here.
All right.
Now do you see her?
Yeah, one of them.
Mr. Sparks, do you see her now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So in compliance with the Texas Supreme Court Emergency Order number 25, we're conducting these proceedings via Zoom, a rote software. The child, Mr. Sparks, is in our detention facility at a terminal. The mother, Ms. Sasha Montag, is here present in the courthouse, but at a different courtroom on Zoom. Mr. Adeniji, counsel for the respondent, is appearing remotely. We have Mr. Reed appearing remotely, and Ms. Blair, the assigned officer, is not here, but Mr. Kroll is appearing on her behalf. In compliance with the Texas Constitution that allows public access to all court proceedings, we are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube. No portion of this recording or this session may be recorded, broadcast, or copied. Violations of this order are punishable by contempt of up to 6 months in Tarrant County Jail and a $500 fine. So the court will take notice that there was a second amended petition regarding the child engaged in delinquent conduct filed on September 30th, 2020. And that the child was served with this petition on October 1st of 2020. It appears the mother was not served, but she has received notice that she is present here at this proceeding. Mr. Sparks and Ms. am I saying it Montag or Montague? Which one is it?
Montague.
Montague, all right. So Mr. Sparks and Ms. Montague, if you can raise your right hands for me. Mr. Sparks, thank you. Do each of you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give at this cause currently at trial that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Mr. Sparks?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You may lower your hands. Mr. Sparks, please tell me what your full legal name is.
Jalen DeWan Sparks.
All right, and what is your date of birth?
5/17/05.
Thank you. Are you an American citizen?
What you mean?
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I'm from Texas.
You're Texan. I like that even better. All right, thank you, sir. So I have to go over a couple things with you. I have to let you know the nature and the possible consequences of these proceedings. So right now there's a petition alleging that you have engaged in delinquent conduct. All right. In paragraph 1, they're saying on October 27th that you threatened to commit aggravated assault, including violence, and that intended to place the public or a group of the public in fear of serious bodily injury. They're also saying that you committed an evading arrest with a motor vehicle. That you were evading arrest from the police that caused serious bodily injury, and that you threatened bodily injury to somebody using a deadly weapon, specifically a knife. Do you understand that? Mr. Reed, there's no grand jury approval on this one? Is that correct?
There's not.
All right. So you understand, Mr. Sparks, that as a result of this, you could be committed to the Texas Juvenile Justice Department. And they would keep you there until they felt like you're rehabilitated. Then they would release you back into the community on parole. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
For an offense like this, probably the minimum that would keep you is 9 months. The longest would be all the way up until your 19th birthday. It all depends on whether you behave or don't behave. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So you do have certain rights in this proceeding, right? This is really your trial today. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So this trial is in front of me. You don't have to agree to this. You don't have to agree to say that you did it. However, my understanding is you wish to just bypass a trial and you don't want to fight it, and you just want me to assess the punishment for you if there is one on this case. Is that correct?
What you mean, like TJD?
So do you want to fight whether you committed the aggravated assault, the evading that caused injury, and the terroristic threat? Like, do you want to fight those and have a trial and have the DA prove it up, or do you just want to admit responsibility and allow me to make a decision on what should happen to you?
Well, terroristic threat, I agree to it.
I'm sorry?
Terroristic threat, I agree to
What was the first part you said?
it. The terroristic threat,
Into terroristic threat,
Terroristic threat, right.
because the state is waiving the second and third paragraphs.
So it's just a terroristic threat is what's going on today.
Yes,
So if you want to do that and allow me to make a decision on whether you need a disposition, that means kind of a punishment, if you need one or not, and what it would be, right? Or do you want to fight that and have me or a jury decide whether you actually did it or not?
I'd rather you fight it.
You'd rather fight it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No, Judge, I don't think you understand
Yeah,
what
I know, I'm about to explain it. So, Galen, what this means is, so let's just take the terroristic threat, okay? And so right now you're just accused and we don't know if you did it or not. Now, the district attorney, if you say you don't agree with it, that you didn't do it, the district attorney would have to prove everything, right? They would have to prove it to me or to a jury to decide whether or not you committed the terroristic threat or not.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to agree. You don't have to admit that you did it. If you want to give up and just admit that you did it and go to me straight to decide what to happen, that's fine. If you want the district attorney to prove that you did it, that's fine too. That doesn't matter either.
I'd rather explain to you how it went down.
Okay, so you'd rather just me decide what happened and you admit to what happened?
Yeah, that's what I'd rather you do.
Okay, so you don't need the district attorney to prove this like in front of me or a jury, right? Like, do they have to call in witnesses and bring in exhibits?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. So you give up your right to remain silent then, is that right? You want to admit that you did it?
Like the theory, that's why I really want to explain to you, because look, it's like, you know, I want to explain to you
I
basically.
understand. And you would have a chance if your attorney called you, you would have a chance to explain it to me. But what I'm saying is you don't have to admit to it. Like you could make the DA prove everything. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I admit to it, because
Okay.
And Jalen, you don't have to explain anything. Just
Yeah,
listen to the judge.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to admit to it. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You know what admit means?
I mean, I did it.
Yeah, admit means you own up, right? You don't own up to it. Now, you know you don't have to own up to it, right? The DA can prove it to you. Prove it to me.
I'm owning up to that.
You want to own up to it. All right. Now, you do have a right to confront your witnesses. That means if anybody has anything to say about you that's negative, you have the right to see them and look them in the eye as they're saying these things about you that are bad, okay?
Yes, sir.
You understand you have that right, but what you're saying is you don't need to do that. You don't need to have police officers come and testify. You don't need any kind of witnesses or anything like that. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You're also saying that you also have a right to have a jury make this decision. So let's say you don't like me, you can have 12 people in the courtroom and they would listen to the same things. They would listen to the same witnesses, see the same pictures or video or whatever. I don't know what's there, but the jury would make that decision. You have that right to a jury, but what you're telling me is you do not want a jury. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And normally you have a right to appeal. However, right, if you're going open on this one, I'm going to ask you to give up your right to appeal. So whatever I decide, this will be final. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Good. So okay, so Mom, I had sworn you in. Can you tell us what your legal name is?
Sasha LaGeorge Montague.
All right. And what is your relationship to Jalen?
I'm his mother.
Thank you. Mr. Adniji, is there any reason why your client will not understand the proceedings today?
There's no reason but limited understanding because of his low functioning capacity. But he There's no other reason.
Okay. Well, is he fit to proceed?
Yes.
Jalen, you're here today because the state of Texas has filed a petition alleging you have engaged in delinquent conduct, which, if committed by an adult, would constitute an offense against the laws of Texas, namely terroristic threat. You understand what they're saying that you did?
Hey, they trying to, like they said, I made a threat towards the school.
Right. So they're saying that on or about October 27th in 2019 in Tarrant County, Texas, you then and there intentionally threatened to commit aggravated assault, an offense involving violence against any person or property with intent to place the public or a substantial group of the public in fear of serious bodily injury. You understand what I just read out to you?
Yes, sir.
Back last October, that you threatened to hurt people. And when you threatened it, it was likely to cause people to get upset or in
Yes,
fear.
sir.
Okay. All right. Stay wave opening.
Stay waived, Judge.
All right, the court will take judicial notice of a 3914 manifest of a stipulation of evidence, judicial confession, and disposition agreement, a supplemental detention evaluation, and there is a social history that has been filed with the court under seal. So any exhibits or witnesses from the state?
None, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, so Mr. Sparks, what I have here is what's called a stipulation of evidence, all right?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
I don't think you've seen this document. Do you know what the word stipulation means?
No, sir.
Okay, I didn't think you did. That's okay. A stipulation is a fancy legal word, and what it means is it means an agreement. Okay, but it's a very formal agreement.
Yes, sir.
So here's my example. Let's say your mom there, right? And we say she's wearing a kind of a maroon shirt. Okay, is that something we could agree with?
Talking about the color on her shirt.
Yeah, the color on her shirt.
Well, I say, yeah. Well, I don't know. It look red to me. It look
How
red.
about like underneath? Can we say it's a white shirt underneath
Yeah,
her?
a white shirt. A white shirt.
Okay, so then what we can say then is we can stipulate, we can agree to that. So that means 50 years later in the year 2070, right? If you and I are both alive, we could not disagree about what color her t-shirt was today. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like forever and ever, we can't go back and we can never, we can't fight about it. Like that is what color her shirt is. We've agreed to it. We've stipulated to it. You understand? But if I was to say her t-shirt there was blue, is that something you could agree with?
No, sir.
All right. So that means in the year 2070, we're sitting on a front porch somewhere arguing about what color her shirt was. We never stipulated. So I'll say it was blue. You'll say it's white, and we can start throwing hands about it because we'll disagree. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because we can't go back and say, wait, there's a stipulation. We both agreed it's white. So do you understand how important a stipulation is? That means you can never go back and change it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's some things I want to go over with you. There's a stipulation here. And so just to make sure, we're agreeing that Sasha Montague is your mother, and she resides on Brentwood Stair in Tarrant County, Texas. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that you are Jalen DeJuan Sparks, and your birthday is May 17th, 2005. And you were the person, and your mom is the one who's responsible for you. You agree with all that?
Yes, sir.
And then also that you had certain rights and you gave up your rights, the ones I talked to you before, your right to a trial, your right to remain silent, your right to a jury, your right to cross-examine witnesses. Okay, so those are all rights you still give up. Is that correct?
What you mean? Like you talking about just what we just went through?
Yeah, what we went through.
Yeah.
Like, okay, making the DA prove their case, you don't need to have that, right?
No, sir.
Okay, and that on or about October 27th in 2019 in Tarrant County, Texas, that you committed terroristic threat that caused the public to fear serious bodily injury, right? In violation of section 2207 of the Texas Penal Code. Right? You understand what they're saying that you did there?
They saying I threatened the school, right?
It's a terroristic threat?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly the facts behind it, but it's the
Yes, sir.
offensive terroristic threat.
What you mean? You said what again?
I
That's
don't know I don't know the facts behind it. I just know it's the offense of terroristic threat.
Yeah, it's there. I want.
Okay. And that you also agree that you need some kind of disposition to be made. So I have to decide some kind of punishment. Is that correct?
What you mean? Like, you asked me, do I need a punishment?
No, that I need to decide that
Yes,
I'm
sir.
the best person to decide what happens to you now.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
So, and everything that I just said, this is the stipulation. You stipulate to everything that I just read out to you.
Yes, sir.
So my question is, everything I just said to you, is it true or is it not true?
Some of it is, some of it not.
Okay, which part isn't true?
Okay, the part when I made the threat, but when they said I was going to do it, like when they said I was going to shoot the school up, I wasn't.
Jalen, just answer what the judge asked you.
Yeah.
Don't go into details here.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm getting confused. What I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just asking everything that I read
So
out
the
to you.
judge is asking you, is the offense you are charged with terroristic threat? The answer is yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Don't go into anything unless the judge asks you. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So everything that I explained to you, is it true or is it not true?
True.
True. Are you saying true because it is true and for no other reason?
What you mean?
Is there any reason why you're saying true? Did somebody bribe you?
Like did somebody made
Yeah,
me
did somebody like offer you cash money to say true?
Oh no.
Did anybody threaten you? They say they're gonna like beat you up if you don't say true?
No.
Okay, did anybody say they're gonna like hurt your family unless you say true?
No.
Okay, are you saying true because you want to say true?
I'm saying true because it is true, sir.
Because it is true. All right, thank you. So, Mr. Reed, wave close.
Wave closed, Judge.
All right, Mr. I need you wave close.
Those judge.
Based on the competent evidence from this hearing, the court will make a finding of delinquency. Specifically, the court will find the allegations in the petition in paragraph 1 was established by the evidence. That will conclude adjudication of this matter. Mr. Reed, the state waives paragraphs 2 and 3.
We do, Judge.
All right, the court will accept the waiver of paragraphs 2 and 3. All right, are we ready for disposition?
State's ready.
Sir, I need
Defense
you
ready.
All right, so the court will call cause number 323-112-983-20. This is styled in the matter of Jalen DeJuan Sparks. The court, having previously adjudicated this child as delinquent, is now here on a disposition hearing. So there's a filed under seal. I have the social history for the child. And state waive opening.
Judge, only to say that I'm covering this hearing for Janet Farmer, and I believe probation officer Mr. Crawl is also covering for the person who authored the social history. Just with that in mind, if the court has any inquiries it would like to make, I'd suggest that, as I'm only familiar with the social history in this case.
Okay. Mr. Aniji, you're opening.
The only thing I want the judge to consider is, with particular reference to the psychological evaluation before the court in making a determination. That's very critical.
All right. Any exhibits from the state for disposition?
None from the state, Judge.
Exhibits from the respondent?
Do I take it that the social history is being tendered?
Yes, it is filed with the court.
Okay, I thought Ms. Reed is going to offer it.
No, it's filed, so it doesn't have to be offered.
Okay, nothing from defense then.
Mr. Reed, is there an allocution in this matter?
If I could call on Mr. Shipley, I believe he's the victim coordinator.
Yes. Mr. Shipley, is there an allocution in this matter?
Not in paragraph 1, there's not, Your Honor.
Then closings. Is it what I have a question, Mr. Call? Is this is the child? Is this the child that destroyed the laptop during one of the detention hearings?
That is correct.
Okay.
And we have kind of resolved that subsequent detention hearing, Judge, when he apologized to you. Remember?
Right, right. I think that's why he's in restraints, though, right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Closings.
Judge, although this respondent is only being adjudicated for paragraph 1, the state would just ask that you take into consideration in your decision as to disposition all the information contained in the social history, particularly that in the evading arrest causing serious bodily injury, I believe Mr. Shipley could provide some more information on that issue, but that person was severely, and I mean severely injured, and still dealing with those injuries. Basically, this is just repeated, extremely serious, dangerous behavior to the community. And in taking a look at the kind of the predicate for why a child can be removed from their home, this social history goes to all of those things that a court would need to consider. So while looking at a social history, we just ask that you take that that potential disposition into account, and we would defer to the court for your ruling.
Mr. Adeniji?
Judge, if the judge will remember, we were all agreed.
Mr. Adeniji, can you start over? Your voice faded out for a second.
Oh, I said, Judge, I want to recall that the state and the defense agreed to the placement option. And the reason we are not proceeding on that is because it turns out the staffing unit, I believe that would be Mr. Chris Shah, they determined that because from the psychological evaluation report, the level of functioning of Jalon is so low, they can't find any placement. So we are left with one of two options instead of three. So we have a situation whereby it's either probation and extend services or TJJD. And that's where defense and the state can agree. And I'm just saying that to lead to the fact that we have a report that says this is a 15-year-old child functioning as a 7-year-old. And I'm sure the court will have observed that in the short period of this hearing. Is functioning is third grade spelling, second grade reading, second grade comprehension, first grade math. Is basically a little 7-year-old child. And as you will observe, Judge, every single time we come before this court, the first thing Jalon is asking, where's my mom? Where's my mom? Like a typical 7-year-old child. And I'm saying, when you read the report, Judge, the mom spoke with the psychologist. Jalon spoke with the psychologist. The psychologist made recommendations. It's clear from the report, Judge, that Jalon has mild, almost, 60 the score is 60 in functioning and is determined to be almost IDD level. And the recommendation the psychologist made, I will urge on the court, and that will be on page 13, Judge, of the report. The psychologist talking about treatment and services that has never been extended to Jalon. He has never had the benefit of probation. And I'm saying that to draw the court's attention to the fact that the juvenile court system is designed for rehabilitation of a child. And this situation with Jalon is a medical issue that's not been addressed. You will see in the report that the doctor is saying he needed some psychiatric evaluation and possible treatment and possibly medication. And what I'm saying is, before you decide to throw somebody to TJJD, what the court is designed to try and see how to help him in terms of medical services. He's doing stuff that one would not expect a normal 15-year-old to be doing. Should not to be wrong, but he's doing it. And the court will observe that these problems with Jalon, we're talking about in a period of 2 years. This started in 2018, and it advanced to so many in 2019. It's there in the report that he belongs to a gang. And you will see in the report how Jalon explained why he had to be. He's low functioning, they make fun of him, he doesn't understand quickly what they're teaching in class, he's embarrassed usually, and to fit in, he's putting on a gap of more than what he is. And unfortunately, Judge, the mom has been helpless in the sense that if you see what the mom is telling the psychologist, it's a cry for help. This child, and it looks like a grown man, but it's a child. He needs medical attention that I don't think sending him to TJJD is going to help. At some point, TJJD will send him back to the community. But these underlying issues that is raised in the psychological report, and he's never had the benefit of probation. During the course of these proceedings, he was asked to go to TYRC. He had no clue what that meant. To him, it's just back to where he needs to be, and he just left. He had no particular understanding. Yes, he's free to proceed because, as the court will have observed, when you keep repeating stuff to him, he gets it eventually. Everything you have gone through with Jalon this morning, I went through with him on Friday night with the mom on a three-way conference. I went through with him the same thing, the paperwork you're talking about, on Saturday night with the mom too. And again, you are doing the same thing I did repeatedly, consecutively over 2 days. That should let the court know that TJJD is not going to be the solution here. Now, if he is given a chance on probation and services that is recommended by the psychologist is extended to him to help both himself and the mom and the family, and we're still having this problem, I don't think anybody will question at that time that the progressive nature of the juvenile system that the court is designed to go through has been observed and explored and exhausted. Then TJJD will be a realistic and maybe the right option at that point. But to throw a child that has not been given help because of his low functioning capacity, because the provision of the penal code that talks about criminal responsibility doesn't hold somebody under the age of 10 criminally responsible for their acts unless this court waives jurisdiction and certify the person as an adult, depending on the serious nature of the offense. So now we are really dealing with a 7-year-old child, and that's what the law says. I'm talking about Article 807 of the Penal Code. He is a child, is under 10, and science is saying that to you, Judge. And this is the first time I believe the mom is exposed to the fact that, yes, I know my child is slow, but I don't think she realized the impact of that in terms of the kind of things that and how much attention she should be posing. And I know the judge will read in the report that when he was released to go home, he had to come back DTA, and the mom is not telling the court and all that stuff. The mom is just getting an understanding, having spoken to a psychologist, that we have a serious problem, but it's not that serious if we attend to it right now. And the court will see that on page 13. We have a very limited period to attend to these issues. And the doctor said he may need psychotropic medications. I mean, so all I'm urging on the court is that these two options is there for a reason. And I'm just urging the court that knowing how much the court knows Jalen, with repeated instructions over a period, he may be able to get it. And with appropriate services, counseling, anger control, whatever the doctor recommended, he should be given that chance first, Judge. And that's what I'll be urging on the court. It's not his fault that he has low functioning capacity. That's the natural tendency that he had no control of. He's as much in a bad situation as the community that he has to live in. But if the community is willing to give him the chance, then nobody will be saying nobody cared about this child. He's a child, Judge. And that's what I'll be urging on the court, giving a chance for the first time in the juvenile justice system to see court can help him rehabilitate as opposed to giving up on him so soon. So that's what I'll be urging on the court.
So under Texas Family Code, Chapter 61.105, the court at its own discretion may give the parent an opportunity to provide any information that may assist the court in making a determination for the child. So, Mom, I know you're here. I know you've listened to this, but more than that, I know you've been around Jalen his whole life. And so, Sasha, do you have any comments? Anything that you think would help me make my decision? If I can ask you, just because we have a court reporter, if you can pull the mask down to make sure we can hear you. Thank you.
Mr. Adeniji pretty much said it all. I mean, I feel like I understand him better than anybody else because that is my child. I do know he has a low functioning. That's always been my fight for him. It doesn't justify his actions. He know a little bit about right and wrong, but I just learned a lot today myself here. So I guess that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm just ready for my baby to come home, but I do want him to understand, you know, his actions. There's always consequences behind your actions.
Tell the judge about the services kind of thing to help him. You want to talk to the judge about that? Because I don't know that you have really been able to access the services, counseling, and all the stuff that will happen.
Something set up through the Medicaid program because I have had a lady that used to come out to do it, but she was more of like a third party. She wasn't who I thought she was. I actually thought she was a counselor, but she was somebody who come out and interview him to find the right person for him. And we never got anybody as far as that. Now, when he was 4 years old, he was on medication. So I'm hearing medication being brought up again, which I'm okay with that if that has to happen because he was on it before. early in his adolescent stages. I mean, I don't know what else y'all want from me. I have saw programs though. We have the MHMR or whatever. They say they'll find someone that could come visit at home and stuff like that. I just wait on them.
All right, thank you, Mom. So the court, having heard the argument of counsel and reviewing the social history, will find that the child is in need of rehabilitation and the protection of the public as well as the child requires disposition to be made. So, Mr. Sparks, I want to let you know, and just straight up front, that I'm committing you to TJJD. Okay. I want to explain why though, because I'm trying to show you respect man to man. And I think your mom deserves to know, but more importantly, you deserve to know. Okay. My concern is that you're at this point in your life where you're refusing to accept supervision. Okay. I mean, this shows up when you're skipping all the school you were skipping. Your mom actually had to block the school's phone number because you missed, I think, 180 periods in 48 days. I mean, you just weren't going anywhere to school. We sent you to TYRC, you refused to do that. You weren't listening to your mom, right? If you think about this, Mr. Sparks, if you just listened to what your mama told you, you never would have get in trouble with the law, right? If you were hanging around the people that you're supposed to hang around, she didn't want other people in the gang coming around her house. You knew that, but you still brought them over anyways, right? If you had just listened to your mom and took her, what she was telling you, then you and I never would have met. You never would have been in trouble. So this is my concern right now. And this is the tough part for me is I don't want to commit you because usually I give kids a chance of probation. This is what I'm afraid of. If I was to give you probation, I would send you to placement first and make you successfully complete placement. Okay, I wouldn't let you, either way, you weren't getting out on the streets today. Okay, if I gave you probation, it would have been a placement. We have not found a placement for you yet. So you could be sitting here for another 30 to 90 days waiting for a placement. Okay? And then a placement is 6 to 9 months. All right. So what you're talking about is up to a year before you even have a chance to start probation. And if the placement doesn't work because we didn't find the right one for you, you would come back and then I would commit you to TJJD if you had problems. So then you're looking at a TJJD 9 months to a year there. Remember, so you're 15 now, right? You're almost 15 and a half. So if you think about it, just to do placement, you'd be 16 and a half. And then if I sent you to TJJD, which takes another year, 17 and a half by the time you get out. What I'm trying to do is skip a step. And the reason why is because TJJD has all the same programs that the placement does, right? In fact, TJJD has every program that every placement does in one facility. So what this means to me is it guarantees that you can get the right treatment right away instead of trying something here, getting placement. If you don't finish, then sending you to TJJD and you wasted a year. Or let's say you do finish, but they didn't really help you. And so you violate your probation and then I send you to TJJD again, right? So you could get out after your 18th birthday if it works out in a bad way. So what I'm doing, this is a tough decision, but what I'm saying is I don't think that a placement right now is the fastest way for you to get help. I'm trying to find the fastest way for you to get help so you can go back and be reunited with your mom. And TJJD is going to be the fastest way for you, right? Based on all my experience. I know it's tough. I know this is not what you want to hear, but I've been doing this for a little while. I hope that you trust me that this is what I'm trying to do to help you in the fastest possible way. I don't want to drag this out. I don't want you to have to come back in here over and over again. I don't want you to have to go to placement, another placement, probation, short-term placement, long-term placement, all these things. I'd rather just go to TJJD. You do your thing. Take care of your business. Don't be in fights. Don't cause problems. Go to class, go in the programs, and then get out. They will let you out as soon as you get done. So if you focus on doing the right thing, you could be home in 6 months. If you're going to placement, you will not get back at the least, I expect 9 months, at the longest 1 year. This is your fastest way home. You understand what I'm saying? I know you don't like it, but do you understand what I'm saying? And because we kind of had difficulty understanding, Mr. Sparks, I want to make sure you understand. Option A, is you're looking at 9 months to a year to get home in the best case scenario. Option B, which is TJJD, you can get home in 6 months, best case scenario, if you do everything right. So it's not TJJD. Sometimes it's a bad thing. In your case, this is the quickest way to get home. I am not going to release you today on probation no matter what. It was either placement or TJJD. And I'm looking at this, and TJJD is the fastest way for you to get home. Okay, does that make a little bit more sense to you?
Oh, because look, I ain't on talk. Look, I feel like
Jalen, maybe I can help you understand what the judge just said. See, no, the judge is basically telling you, assuming placement was even possible, you're not going home anyway. Even if we get placement today, you will be in placement for 9 months to whatever period. So what the judge is saying, we all know now there will be no placement because they can't find any. So instead of being indefinite, go to TJJD. The services that we're talking about will be available, and you will cut the time waiting, holding probation on your head. TJJD 6 months, you continue with level 1 outstanding, you could be out in 6 months. So what the judge is saying is actually a more effective and helpful disposition. That's not what we talked about, but from the way the judge also explained it, I think it's in your best interest. So go ahead and say what you say, understanding what I just said.
I understand, but I still want to say my part. I understand that what you're telling me, that I don't want to hear it, but it's like, I know I did some bad stuff, but it's like, then you already made the decision that I can help it. So all I'm saying is like, I'm not him no more. I'm not that man no more. I'm not him no more. You 2 months and Kimbo did something to me. Even when y'all get it or not, it did something to me. I don't want to go through this no more. And I feel like if I had enough teams, I'll make it better. And I promise you, I'll do whatever, but I promise you, if I had enough teams, I'll make it better. Now you won't see my face on the screen no more unless it's court or unless y'all call me up here. And I got to. That's how I feel. I feel like I can make a change. Before even no TJJD, I can feel like I can make a change for myself. Cause if y'all know what I'm not, I'm tired of going through this. I know y'all tired of seeing me on the screen. So all I'm saying is, I want probation because look, probation, I feel like I do. I feel like I can show y'all how better I can do. I want to show y'all what I can do, what y'all never seen me do. And y'all probably not gonna give me the option.
Mr. Sparks, here's the thing. When you raged out and you broke my laptop at that detention hearing, you kind of sealed the deal that I wasn't going to let you on probation right away, because that told me that you needed very intensive treatment. Okay, that's the consequence to the decision that you made that day at a detention hearing when you broke my laptop. So the question now is, because I'm not letting you out today, no matter what. So the question is, do I send you to TJJD or do I send you to a long-term placement? Your way to get home faster is TJJD. If you go there, you don't get in fights, you don't cause problems, you behave like you're telling me that you can, TJJD will release you faster. They're okay releasing you. If I send you to placement, you're waiting here for maybe another month to 3 months waiting to find a placement. Then you go to placement for 6 to 9 months, right? Then when you finish placement, then you start your probation for 2-3 year probation, because I'll keep you for a longer probation. So that means you can mess up, and then I send you to TJJD after that. You understand? I'm putting you at, if I gave you probation, you would have more risk than just sending you to TJJD now. Here's the thing though, by sending you to TJJD, the ball is in your hands, right? I'm handing the ball off to you, and it's whether you cross the goal line or not. It's purely up to you. You go to TJJD, you act a fool, you get in fights, you get some contraband, you start destroying things, you rage out, then they won't let you out until your 19th birthday. But if you go there, yes, sir, no, ma'am, please, thank you, chew your food with your mouth closed, don't get in fights, don't affiliate with any gang members, man, you'll get out quick. But if you go and act a fool with the foolishness that you've shown me in the past, you will stay there all the way to your 19th birthday. So it's completely up to you. I will be out of the picture. In fact, even if I told TJJD, I don't think you should release Jalen Sparks, I don't like him, they'll ignore me. They will do what they think is best based on what you have done. You see what I'm saying? You will no longer be under me anymore. It's purely up to TJJD. I can't block it. If they decide to release you, I can't stop it. Yes, sir.
So it's not like today decision have, man, I ain't got no time. I ain't got no nothing because I miss my, it ain't like, it's not like I want to be, it ain't like I want to be in the free. It ain't like I want to just be in the free. Huh?
You want to, he's pretty much trying to say he want to be able to visit. What's the visitation?
So TJJD right now, because of coronavirus, all right, does not have any kind of visitation, just like we don't. So that's been suspended, but there will be a visitation schedule. And TJJD tries to keep the kids as close to home as possible. I believe our closest facility is in Mart, Texas, which is just south of Waco. So it's it's about 2 hours from, it's less than 2 hours. All right, it's just right outside of Waco. So that actually, that's probably where he'll go unless he has behavior problems. Jalen, if you go and act a fool and get in fights, they're going to send you off to the high security ones, Ron Jackson. All right, so if you behave, they'll try and keep you as close to home as possible. If you misbehave and cause problems, there's only a couple of facilities they can take you to.
So how long would I be doing in there?
It's up to you. That's what I'm saying. You
Jalen,
go there,
that's what-
you behave, you do what you're supposed to do, they let you out sooner. You cause problems, you will turn 19 in TJJD. It's purely 100% up to you.
Jalen, if you continue at your level 1 outstanding behavior, there's a very good chance 6 months you'll be out. You'll be back home.
Yes, sir.
So you have to take it to the next level in terms of your behavior and making sure you follow your medical instructions, medication, whatever they ask you to do is in your hands. Placement doesn't get you home sooner. That's the reality of what the judge is saying. I think I see that light right now.
Placement would be longer. Plus, if you finish placement, you're still under probation for me for a couple years.
So I'm asking like, I gotta like when my time, like when I get shipped off and stuff like this, what I'm trying to see. Cause like,
You want to know how long he gonna sit here?
whether you know or not, whether y'all know or not, I can't do it here.
I understand, but Mr. Sparks, this is one of those things where this is a consequence to your decision. Okay? You made bad decisions, and there's a consequence to that. Right? And you knew when you first saw me that there's a chance that I would send you to TJJD. You knew I was serious.
Yes, sir. But you also told me, like I had a chance of getting released too, sir.
Well, no, I said it was possible, but the problem is you were kicked out of TYRC. You kept on smoking weed while you had a case pending.
Yeah, the reason, like it's the reason.
Judge is talking. Hold on, Jalen.
There's no reason.
Judge is talking about the subsequent detentions here we have had. And actually the one before the last, you did say, if we finish adjudication and they're still looking for placement and you're on level 1 outstanding, I will let you go home pending the time they find placement. That's not panned out. That's what he's referring to. But the bottom line is, if you end up going to placement, as we all expected, you're going to be there longer. It's not home.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It'll be longer. Okay, so finally, the court finds that it is in the child's best interest to be placed outside the child's home, that reasonable efforts were made to prevent or eliminate the need for the child's removal from the home and make it possible for the child to return to the child's home, that the child in the child's home cannot be provided the quality of care and level of supervision that the child needs to meet the conditions of probation, and that the child has behavioral health or other special needs that cannot be met with the resources available in the community. Mr. Sparks, go do well, right? Behave, don't cause problems. There are kids that you'll go there and you'll meet other kids from Tarrant County, and you'll see the ones that at the beginning, they act a fool and then they shape up toward the end and it just drags things out.
So look, I
From
gotta ask
day
you,
one, start behaving. Yes, sir.
so like, you remember when you told me if you are when you say you release me, if I'm level 1 outstanding, you release me on a month until you get everything situated, until you do that. I don't still got let him. I can't because I promise you, my mama she all that. We talked about all that, and if you can do that for me, like you told me if I'm level 1 outstanding, and you finding a placement or whatever, you will release me on an income monitor and have me to come back when that gets situated, sir.
Right. Now, Mr. Sparks, that was all also before you broke my laptop, right?
Yes, sir.
Actually, no, Judge, it was after.
It was
Well,
after?
Actually, it was after.
It was after?
I apologize to you that day, sir.
Yeah, we apologize, and that's why when you mentioned it, Judge, I recall that he actually apologized, and
Okay.
I believe the judge accepted his apology. So that's what he's talking about.
I believe you, Mr. Sparks, I believe you too. My problem right now is I'm seeing the social history and all the deeper problems, which I didn't know. I'm not allowed to see the social history until after adjudication.
Yes, sir.
Now that I read it, now that I see there's a whole lot more problems than I knew before. And that's probably why they don't let me see it before, just so I don't have too much information. But right now I'm seeing the problems. What it is, Jalen, I'm seeing the problems that you give your mom. Your mom is trying so hard to be there for you. Your mom is trying so hard to give you direction and good advice, and you're rejecting your mom's advice. That's my problem. It's not your mom. I love your mom. She's a good woman. She is trying so hard and sacrificing for you, but you refuse to take her advice. That in my heart, that's what bothers me about releasing you, is that no matter how much your mom does to help you, you're going to do your own thing. And that's what breaks my heart. Yes, sir.
This also before I came. It also happened before I came here, and like now, how you thinking that I'm gonna do my mama? It's not going. Like how you think I'm gonna do my mama? It's not the same. I'm not the you sir. You doing me like you telling me like I'm the same person. I'm telling you this. I'm not the same person. I'm a changed man. And I
They
don't
give
want to
you
have
the
my
opportunity, Jalen, to show them that at TJJD. They giving you the opportunity. I know you didn't want to hear it. We wasn't ready for that one. But he letting you know you don't have to be there as long as you would if you take placement.
Correct.
But I'm saying like I'm like a judge. I'm saying this. You like I'm telling you what you told me, Judge, and I kept your word.
All right, Mr. Sparks, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me re-explain this. Let me re-explain this for a second, okay? If you are doing everything right, so I'm not sending you there for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. I'm sending you to TJJD for you to show that you can behave and that you're safe to release, and they'll release you on parole. It could be on the very first day you on intake, they say, Jalen doesn't need to be here. We're releasing him today. I can't do anything about that. You understand? You will only be there as long. So if what you're telling me is you're not going to be a problem, TJJD will cut you loose. All right. But if I send you to placement, you have to finish the placement. That will take 6 to 9 months. It will take 1 to 3 months to find placement. You cannot get home sooner than 9 to 12 months.
Yes, sir.
Or 7 to 12 months if I send you to placement. If I give you probation, you will not get home at the very shortest 7 months. TJJD, you could get home if you do everything right, the next day. Now that probably won't happen, but do you understand? This is the quickest way for you to get home. So if you're telling me the truth that you've changed and it's not a problem, TJJD is not a worry. TJJD can let you go as soon as they're comfortable with you. Placement has to keep you for the whole program for the 6 and 9 months.
But looking on it, this is what I'm trying to say. You probably still gonna skip. You probably still gonna skip the fact, but I remain my level 1, and I kept my level 1 because I took your word as a man. I remain my level 1. I took your word as a man when you told me. I knew you wasn't gonna release me, but I took your word as a man when you told me if I was level 1 outstanding, you don't have sure you're gonna be placement. What you said they did, you would let me go and make me come back until you found that, sir.
Jalen, let me explain this to you, okay? What you're having trouble understanding is the difference between a detention hearing and the trial, okay? The detention hearing, you have to keep them separated. If it was just going on detention hearings, on and on, I have to make those decisions. Now, to finish up your case, I have to make a different kind of decision, right? So that's the part that you're not really getting. Mr. Adniji can explain that to you. But at this point, Mr. Sparks, this is not about detention. It's about what to do with you to finish your case off, okay? This is the quickest way home. It's not easy, right? But you have to understand, you will be, mom, you get it, don't you?
I can explain it to him later when he comes.
And Mr. Sparks, you may not understand, but this really is done because I'm trying to help you the fastest way, the most efficient way possible. To get
Okay, so how long will I be sitting here?
See, now that I've done this, it's outside my control. That's how little control I have over TJ. I can't tell them to pick you up. I can't tell you what courses they need to give you. I can't tell them when to release you. They control all of that. This is out of my hands. You don't have to worry about Judge Kim messing up your life anymore, right? TJJD is the one deciding. So you got to go impress them. Impress TJJD. Convince them that they got to let you go.
So, Judge, so you telling me
you don't have to worry about me no more.
Yeah, I now understand everything.
That's a good thing, right?
Actually, Judge, he has to worry about you because he needs to establish his credibility with you. He needs to continue to do exactly what he was doing to assure you. So he needs to continue to do that. Yeah.
Now, Jalen, you get out TJJD and catch another case, guess who you're seeing again?
I'm not coming back here after I leave.
All right, that's what I want to see.
No, I'm telling you this.
Let this be incentive then.
Like when I'm waiting on them, I can't at least have a little time before I even get shipped out with my family.
No, because the quarantine. You have to be in here.
Kind of way he could visit, like how are we doing this?
Okay. So, anyways, everyone, I've got to prepare for the next hearing. Mr. Sparks, impress me. Don't see me again. If you get out and do what you say, you won't see me. But you get out of TJJD and catch another case, you're going to see me again. And then I'm going to be like, Jalen, you promised me. You said, let me prove to you. Let's not have that conversation, okay? And remember, if you take any one thing away from all this, if you had listened to your mama, you never would have gotten in trouble. Just remember that, okay? And that just doesn't stop when you turn 18. That goes in all the way until you're 40, probably past that. Keep on listening to your mom. She's not going to do you wrong. All right, thank you, everyone. This will be the order of the court. Mr. Kroll, if you can come and get this certification so we can give a copy to the mother and a copy to the child. All right, thank you, everyone.
I'll speak to you and your mom later on, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Bye, Jalen.
Thank you, Judge.